Hi, this is Ibarionex from the Candid Frame, and today I want to talk about drawing inspiration from the many images that I see submitted to the Candid Frame Flickr pool. It's been a crazy month, and this weekend I'm going to have some time to go out and shoot. And one of the things that I always try to keep in mind anytime I go out to make photographs is I don't want to go out and simply make snapshots, and I don't want to repeat myself. Time is precious. I don't have a lot of time to just go out and just photograph for my own pleasure. So I really want to make the most out of it. And one of the things that I've been doing is I've been looking through the images in the Candid Frame Flickr pool and just seeing how people are capturing images and seeing maybe a little differently than what I'm accustomed to. What I wanted to do today is discuss several images and how they are sort of inspiring me to look at the world just a little differently. Okay, first we have a shot by Mambo Ferido. This was made with a Fujifilm X100T at 1/500th of a second at f2 ISO 800. Now, what this image reminds me to do is to look for the small gesture. It's not just about the big dramatic moment with all this great dramatic light. Sometimes the most interesting photographs are really quiet. They're really subtle. And it's easy when you're roaming around the streets hunting for something to lose sight of this. And this image is really wonderful in a variety of different ways, but most importantly, because of that gesture of the hand just hanging over the kiosk window, over the pack of cigarettes. This is a nothing moment. I always talk about nothing moments in these videos, but I think it's really important because we pass by these things all the time, not thinking that, oh, this is going to be a great photograph. We're looking for character. We're looking for high contrast light and shadow. And there are a lot of missed opportunities that we miss just because we're hunting for something else. And that's why I think it's so important to be completely open when you go out and photograph. This image works because the hand serves as something that breaks up the pattern. We have this pattern of rectangles that pervade the entire image. We have the candies, the cigarettes, all of those, and actually the window itself that creates this repetition of rectangles, this repetition of pattern that is really strong in the composition. And then the hand comes in and breaks it up. And I've said before that if you want to make a pattern interesting, find something to break up the pattern, because all of a sudden that thing that breaks up the pattern reinforces the pattern, makes it even more prevalent and more impactful in the photograph. And this is what this hand does. And it's an easy thing to miss because depending on any part of the world that you're in, you probably have seen scenes like this. There's a kiosk, there's a vendor behind the kiosk, and you just kind of look at it and you just say, oh, there's nothing interesting there because the light isn't particularly great, or there doesn't seem to be anything there to really sort of grab your attention because you're always looking for something else. And this hand hanging out the window is that thing. It's the thing that makes this moment, that makes this shot. It doesn't matter that we don't see this person's face completely, that it's obscured by this little piece of paper that's lodged into the window frame. But it's the hand that makes the shot, and it's not doing anything except just being there. But within the context of everything that's happening within the frame, it makes for a really interesting photograph. It's moments like this that I think I miss a lot. I'm walking down the street, or sometimes I'm just camping out in a location, and oftentimes I'm looking for light, and I'm looking for light and contrast, and I'm looking for gesture, or I'm looking for an interesting juxtaposition between the background and a character that comes into the frame. Always looking for something where when I see it, automatically my brain just sort of goes on fire and I go, oh, this could be a potentially great shot. But there are quiet moments like this, ordinary moments like this, that I think I miss just because I'm not completely present. As present as I would like to think I am when I go out and photograph, sometimes I'm still a bit preoccupied with what I'm going to get, rather than just observing where I am at that moment, in that second, and seeing what is being presented to me. And I think this shot really is a testament to that idea, to that concept of, stand where you are and observe and take it in. Because as quiet as this moment is, I think it's a marvelous, marvelous shot. even though it's a nothing moment, as I often say on these videos. It's a nothing moment, but within the context of the frame, it is something special. Next, we have a shot by Anang HanaFi. This was shot with a Fujifilm X70, shot at 125th of a second, f/16, ISO 2000. Now, this image is a little different from the other one, but it's also an ordinary moment. It's just a dog barking while this person is climbing up the stairs. And I really like this shot. I mean, the color play in this composition is wonderful. We got some great gesture with the dog, with the feet going up the stairs, all these varying shapes, all these things that play off of each other really beautifully. But the thing this brings to mind for me is it's sort of an ugly scene, right? I mean, if we were walking by this, we or anybody else, they wouldn't see anything pretty in this scene, right? You look at the makeshift doghouse, you see the condition of the stairs, you see the corrugated gate, and you see how, dirty it is, the ground, there's no grass. It's an ugly place, right? It's not beautiful in the way that we typically conceive of a location being beautiful. But the photographer reveals the beauty as a result of making this composition. And for me, that's the idea, is that, because we live in this culture, we have become accustomed to looking at a place, looking at a location, and making a judgment call about it and saying, oh, this is a pretty location. This is an ugly one. This is a clean one. This is a dirty one. And those judgments can sort of impair our ability to be able to see it photographically. And this shot reminds me of that. I would hope that as a photographer, I would be able to get past that bias and be able to see, the color, the tones. And I think for the most part, I am. I love scenes like this because I know that there's always the potential for beauty within a photograph, regardless of what, our prejudgments are in terms of what's photo worthy and what's not photo worthy. But I still can lose sight of it. And I think this photograph here does remind me of that idea of saying, pay attention, regardless of how dirty or ugly that you think anything is. What happens to it when you raise the camera to your eye and view it through the lens rather than through my naked eye? Can the image be remarkable? Can it be interesting? Can it move past whatever judgments I have about the place and the elements and make for an interesting shot? And Anang here, I think he really nails it. And the gesture, the guy's feet going up the stairs, all of those things come together because these are elements that in the normal world have no relationship to each other other than the fact that they're there. They exist within that area and proximity to each other. But within the context of the frame, they just sing. Here's a shot by Vieira de Silva. This was made with Olympus TG3 at 1/250th of a second, f/8, ISO 100. Now, this brings up a variety of things for me. First of all, which is getting close. And sometimes I'm just not getting close enough. And even though I know better, sometimes I'm still in that comfort distance of about 5 to 7 feet when I'm photographing a lot of stuff. And I really have to push myself to get closer. One of the ways I do that is by using something wider than a 35 millimeter. Using a 28 or 24 millimeter lens of the equivalent focal length really pushes me to get closer, because I know that when I'm using that wide angle of a focal length, that if I'm too far, the image is likely not going to work, just because I'm including so much more in the frame, and I really have to sort of exclude stuff. And the only way I can do that is by physically moving closer to my subject. But what it also does for me is that it creates a level of intimacy with me and my subjects when I get that close. And this image gets that immediacy. You have these kids at play, and I assume that they're like playing with a ball, even though we don't see the ball in the frame. The gesture of this guy who's sort of jumped and sort of falling back in the water makes it look like he was spiking a volleyball or something like that. So you have that figure, you have the guy with a watch in his left hand reacting to it, and you have the two fellows on the extreme edges of the frame. And you just get in really tight and close, and you are right in that midst. You don't feel that distance that you typically feel when you look at a lot of the street photographs that are posted in our group, where people are 10, 15 feet away, where there may be something interesting happening, but there is this physical distance between the camera and the subject where you just don't feel like you were in the midst of something. And this shot gets that. You are in the middle of this thing. You're not just the casual observer. I mean, to some extent you are, but you just feel like you are in this moment. You can imagine yourself in the water with these kids at play. You feel like you're a part of it. And that for me is the kind of intimacy, the kind of feeling that I want from some of my shots. And sometimes I just have to get past my own level of discomfort, my own fear, my own desire to not be intrusive, and to get in closer and find a way of being able to insinuate myself into a moment like this to make a wonderful, wonderful photograph. I really like this shot, and it's a great reminder to me to make some different choices, to take some risks. Well, I hope that was helpful to you, especially if you're going out this weekend to go out and shoot. Try to look at the pictures that people posted the Candid Frame Flickr poll and try to do something different. Don't just go out there and just repeat yourself. And if you've never heard of the Candid Frame is actually a podcast in which I feature conversations with some of the world's best photographers. And you can check it out by going to thecandidframe.com. And our most recent conversation was with photojournalist Lisa Krantz. And she's an amazing photographer, great storyteller. And I just learned so much from her in terms of how not only a photojournalist tells a story, but how she becomes involved in the lives of the people that she's shooting to create images that are intimate, that are real, that are really, really remarkable. So check out the story and listen to the show. And we have a free Candid Frame app, which you can download by visiting the Candid Frame website. And it's available for all 3 operating systems, whether it's Windows, whether it's iOS, whether it's Android. And you can listen to the archive of all our conversations, all 369 episodes, and check it out. And if you want to submit images to the Candid Frame Flickr pool, just go to Flickr, do a search on the Candid Frame, and just ask to be added. Some people have problems signing up, but that usually happens if you're trying to do it via your phone or your tablet. You'll have to go to your computer for whatever reason and ask to be added. And that way you'll be able to submit images to the Flickr pool and be able to submit images and be considered for these weekly videos. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.